Senator from New Jersey.
I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call be vitiated.
Without objection.
Madam President, today on the floor, my colleagues, some of them, have begun their attacks on President Obama's historic and incredibly qualified nominee to the Supreme Court, Judge Sonia Sotomayor. They clearly decided for ideological reasons that they were going to oppose whoever President Obama appointed before the hearings even started. We've heard people try to attach a lot of labels to Judge Sotomayor over the past few weeks, but it's become clearer and clearer as we look hard at Judge Sotomayor's record and vast experience that attacking this nominee is like throwing rocks at a library. It's uncalled for, and it doesn't accomplish anything. Her opponents are grasping at straws because it turns out we have before us one of the most qualified, exceptional nominees to come before this Senate in recent history. Let there be no doubt. Sonia Sotomayor's nomination to be a justice of the Supreme Court is a proud moment for America. It is proof that the American dream is in reach for everyone willing to work hard, play by the rules, and give back to their communities, regardless of their ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background. And it's further proof of the deep roots the Hispanic community has in this country. But let's be clear. We get to be proud of this nominee because she is exceptionally qualified. We get to be proud because of her vast knowledge of the law, her practical experience fighting crime, and her proven record of dedication to equal justice under the law. Those are the reasons we're proud, and they're the reasons she should be confirmed without delay. We shouldn't be hearing any suggestions that we need indefinitely and infinitely more time to discuss this nomination. It should move just as promptly as the nomination of John Roberts, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Just a little while ago at a press conference, we heard from prominent legal and law enforcement organizations who explain how the people who've actually seen her work know her best as an exemplary, fair, and highly qualified judge. They came from across our country, from Florida to Texas, Nebraska, to my home state of New Jersey. They shed light on how important her work has been in the fight against crime, how her work as a prosecutor put the Tarzan murderer behind bars, how as a judge she upheld the convictions of drug dealers, sexual predators, and other violent criminals. And they made it clear how much they admire her strong respect for the liberties and protections granted by our Constitution, including the First Amendment rights of people she strongly disagreed with. Judge Sotomayor's credentials are undeniable. After graduating at the top of her class at Princeton, she became an editor of the Law Journal at Yale Law School, which many consider to be the nation's best. She went to work in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, prosecuting crimes from murder to child abuse to fraud, winning convictions all along the way. A Republican president, George H.W. Bush, appointed her to the U.S. District Court in New York, and a Democrat, Bill Clinton, appointed her to the U.S. Court of Appeals. She was confirmed by a Democratic majority Senate and then a Republican majority Senate. Her record as a judge is as clear and publicly accessible as any recent nominee, and clearly shows modesty and restraint on the bench. She would bring more judicial experience to the Supreme Court than any justice in 70 years, and more federal judicial experience than anyone in the past century. Her record and her adherence to precedent leave no doubt whatsoever that she respects the Constitution and the rule of law. Judge Sotomayor's record has made it clear that she believes what determines a case is not her personal preferences, but the law. Her hundreds of decisions prove very conclusively that she looks at what the law says, she looks at what Congress has said, and she looks, above all, at what precedent says. She is meticulous about looking at the facts and then decides the outcome in accordance with the Constitution. And on top of that, Judge Sotomayor's personal background is rich with the joys and hardships that millions of American families share. Her record is proof that someone can both be an impartial arbiter of the law and still recognize how her decisions will affect people's everyday lives. I think it really says something that the worst her ideological opponents can accuse her of is being able to understand the perspective of a wide range of people whose cases will come before her. Judge Sotomayor deserves nothing less than a prompt hearing and a prompt confirmation. As the process moves forward, I plan to come back to the floor as often as is necessary to rebut any baseless attacks leveled at this judge. It fills me with pride to have the opportunity to support President Obama's groundbreaking nominee, someone who is clearly the right person for a seat on the highest court of the land. And it is an enormous joy to be reminded once again that in the United States of America, if you work hard, play by the rules, and give back to your community, anything is possible. Thank you, Madam President, and with that, I yield the floor.